Hello, welcome back to Father of Two Plays Sunless Zubmariner Blind. Last time we ran out of fuel and came to a new place here, King Eater's Castle, after having seen the tree... I can't remember quite what it was called. The something tree. The Tree of Ages, that's what it was. And... well, I mean, it was something, it was terrifying, and we did not want anything to do with it. However... it was something to see. We're almost out of fuel. So I'm not sure if we should head straight north. And try to get to... I mean, we've got to turn off our light. Conserve some fuel. Okay, this is maybe a place to dive down. Let's check our desperate measures. Search the supplies. 2 supplies or 1 supplies. Okay, let's use 2 supplies. We've lost 2 supplies and got 1 fuel. Now, if we go under the Z, there is a chance we could find what we need under the Z, so let's take a little look. If we could take out a wreck ship, there's a good chance we could get some fuel. So, there's always that. Otherwise, we're heading north and trying to get to the Empire of Hands if we can. We may have to keep trading supplies for fuel, however... there's a good chance in Iceball we'll find lots and lots of supplies, so maybe not the worst thing in the world. Let's do it again. Got a little more fuel. Okay, this is where the Tree of Ages was, but above us. On the surface, and we don't want anything to do with that, so... nothing down here, huh? That's too bad. We fed the crew again. So now we're getting low on everything. I don't know if it takes more or less fuel down here. Probably more, since we have to use our light. So let's go back to the surface where we can turn our light off again. Another abyss. Alright, we will just have to deal with the terror, because it's better than dying out at Z. We'll take another fuel for 2 supplies. A dangerous trip this one has been. Jedi you are. I don't know why I said that like Yoda, but I did. Empire of Hands is not far, so we may be saved. Especially since Iceball is not far north of there, so if we could make those 2 places, I think we could get back in order here. Perhaps we can find some other means of getting fuel in this place, or at least supplies as well. A very, very dangerous, treacherous journey this one has been. Well, from a standpoint of supplies, at least, we're arriving at the Empire of Hands with 0 fuel and 1 supplies. Okay. Shops. No shops. Shore leave? Well, first things first, we'll get a port report. An audience with the civilized mayor. Talk business? Why, yes, of course we shall. But after a cup of tea, one must do things correctly. Darling, do come in, the civilized mayor purrs. Whatever can I do for you? The soul of the delightful adventuress sits comfortably in him, a four-souled ape of cold ambition and very few scruples. $200 echoes for your soul? No thank you. Acquire fresh supplies. Emergency fuel. Let's do that last. Let's excuse ourselves, and that'll be the last thing we do. Let's try some shore leave. Soulless quality is now 1. An ambush! The twisting paths of the jungle have led far from port, into a dark claustrophobia of trees and mushrooms. The party of savage one-soul apes backs you into a corner, its leader sniffing you with avaricious hunger. It grins, it lunges. Hours later, you awaken. Something is missing. So we lost our soul. Recover our soul? Some damn monkey took it. Even a devil would have the manners to ask. Well, they will not keep it for long. The Pentecost apes steal souls, but also traits and mannerisms from their victim. You just need to find the one that looks the most familiar. Flatulent ape? Okay. Which monkey took it? Is there anything about one of these that seems strangely familiar? A flatulent ape? A jabbering ape? An intoxicated ape? A filthy ape? Sure, we'll go with the jabbering ape. A sense of wholeness. What was missing is now restored, but no harm done. With no harm done, save a sudden itching and an urge to swing from tree by the tail, and you realize you no longer have. Both will hopefully fade in due course. Okay, let's exhale the Empire of Hands. Let's go to the Wild-Wheeled Court. The guard nods and opens the gate. A visitor in court? No, you know what? I kind of want to go to the Fountainhead Island again. Splash, 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 splash. The sound of oars would almost be hypnotic if your arms weren't burning so hard with the effort. Should we visit the adventuress's camp? Yes. Through the forest, the foliage is thick and unforgiving. Speak with the delightful adventuress. She prepares to make her run on the vault. A flustered circus mistress. Oh, it's you, of course. Help me with these blasted maps, would you? The monkeys are quite clueless. She shakes her head. They claim our souls uplift them, but if you ask me, it's just a case of monkey see, monkey do. Can you believe that they think that Zeppelin of theirs will let them create a new empire? Wait, you there. Take that out of your mouth this very second. Monkeys sit idle, waiting for instructions. Outside the vault, the delightful adventuress consults paper with her clay man Barnabas, and a small crew of variably hard-working monkeys try to force open the locks. Ah, you're here, she calls. Do pick up a crowbar, there's a dear. Bit of elbow grease should do it. Right, on the count of 3. Muscles, humans and primate alike, strain in the delightful adventuress's harries. As the delightful adventuress harries everyone along, finally, with a crack and a screech of triumph, the exhaustion, the doors slide open. Inside is just blackness. There! Now chop chop, everybody, declares the delightful adventuress, striding into the dark with a personal glim lantern. Behind her, monkeys collapse to the ground, gasping. Occasionally stolen words and squeals of protest escape into the air. Enter the vault, through the doors, into the depths. Okay, so we can't do that yet. We need a foxfire candle. Okay. Then let us try going to Heartsake Village. The lost treasure hunter. He joined the pirates to see the Z. Now he hopes that one day see something he recognizes. Yeah, let's do that. Adventuring supplies. You came well prepared for this journey, unless your idea of preparations happens to include a compass, a map not written in riddles, a sextant, and a spare set of spectacles to compensate for severe myopia. Trade supplies for Foxfire candles. I wish we could, but we can't. However, we could trade recent news for dynamite. You have a newspaper? At least I won't feel entirely lost when I finally get back home. We now have 3 sticks of dynamite. In the Lost Treasure Hunter scans the latest. Treasure Hunter scans the latest headlines. Fascinating, he mutters, and should be most absorbent if I must need. Okay. Now let's see about going to the Wildweald Court. Let's be a visitor in court. A mob of monkeys. Just getting around is almost impossible. 3 high-souled monkeys fight over which has the most stylish wig. A stampede breaks out when a merchant stall collapses and all descend to take advantage. 2 mandarins come to blows over a particularly valuable soul. The screeching chaos is unbearable. You retreat to a quiet corner, or at least as quiet as you can find. Okay. You are granted permission to enter the Silent Gallery. The silence is a pleasant slap to the face, sweetly scented with incense. Inside, the exquisite seneschal deals with the many demands and complaints of the court. Report the Zeppelin's completion. A plan, fuel for the Zeppelin, a plan, supplies for the Zeppelin. Okay. Nothing now. What is this? Sell the mayor. Oh. Sell to the mayor of Port Stanton. Sell to the ambitious page. Veiled concubine. Monkey baronet. Gift for the emperor. Huh. No sale for now. I don't want to sell my soul. So we have to head back. As much as I don't want to. We have to go back and have an audience. And during our audience, we need to acquire... I mean, actually, if we think about it, emergency supplies cost us 60 per barrel of fuel, right? Supplies cost us 20 per supply, so if we get 2 supplies, that's 1 fuel, that only costs us 40 instead of 60. Can we do this repeatedly? Yes, we can. So I think this is our better bet. Okay. We have to excuse ourselves first? Now we can leave. Okay. I think that's our best bet, really, right now. Oh, we don't want to do that. We want desperate measures. There. We may have to do that a few times. But hopefully, after hitting Iceball... I think we're just going to have to hit Iceball and go straight home as much as I want to hit Hideaway for the letter. I don't think we could do it, to be honest. Oh, we want to turn off our lamp. We gotta take the terror hit to use less fuel. However, Iceball should give us a lot of supplies, so we should be able to make it back to port without losing our ship, which would be a terrible thing to have happen at this point. We've been doing quite well. We took a big risk this trip. But sometimes you have to take risks. And our terror going up is not as bad as us running out of fuel. And it seems to make us much more fuel efficient. And we will explore some Z that we haven't explored yet, so there is that as well. Not a total loss. Iceball. Okay, let's do this again. And let's stop in port here. Fill a mirror catch box. Okay, let's do that. Mortal measures. Is this really sunlight? Then open the box, let it brim. You fill the box successfully, but the sunlight has lit a fire in your bones. You struggle back to the ship and wait while your fever subsides. Be wary, this is true sunlight, and it can be unpredictable death to those who have spent too long here below. So we have 2 wounds now, I think. We have the light, it's pretty. We have a full, or a filled mirror catch box now. Let's gather supplies. 9 supplies. And we've read that before, so we won't bother this time. Compile a port reports. Okay. Now, it's easy for me to feel like I'm in a good position and try and head to Hideaway, but is that the smart thing to do? Well, I'm not always the smartest man. Let's go to Hideaway and deliver the letter. Perhaps they'll sell us, or have, fuel for us for bringing this letter. Who knows? It's not too far away anyway. I don't think we could turn off our light under the Z, but I guess we'll check. Leviathan. Oh, it must be for finding Hideaway, but my achievements didn't seem to be working earlier on in my playthrough. Well, I'm feeling a little better now that we have 12 supplies. That's like a decent amount of fuel. Delivering a letter. No, we don't want to get rid of it. Assemble a port report. We will. That might be a good idea. Present a farewell letter to the sprightly visionary. The withered man stares at the letter in silent anticipation. A farewell accepted. The sprightly visionary tears open the letter, scanning it quickly, then reading it again more closely. His emotions are guarded, but his fingers gently trace the ascot around his neck. In response, the visionary writes only, "Tell Lorenzo he's dismissed from his service." Hesitantly, he gives you the salute of a cognate commander before rushing off to busy himself with other work. Delivering a lover's wordless response. So we're to go to the Undercrow now? Okay. Shops. No shops. Join a festival. The Silent Reel. Hour of reflection. This might cost us our supplies, so I don't think we can join in on that right now. And I would like to do this, but I don't feel I can, so we're gonna head back to Z. Now, could we turn off our... We can turn off our light down here. Well, let's travel a little ways under the Z, shall we? Perhaps we can find some type of foe to defeat. Oh, this is nerve-wracking. If we're gonna make it back, we're gonna barely make it back, I think. Might as well travel down here until the spider monster shows up, or it sounds like he's gonna show up. What is he called again? He's called something. A constant companion. A long way to the west. Okay. Oh, I paused it. I see. His bones in whispers. Oh, hello. Here's a new place. A terrifying new place. What is this? Doesn't say. Well, let's check it out. Perhaps we can get some fuel here. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Scrimshander. Oh, good thing our hull isn't a problem right now. It might be if I keep doing that, though. Stop hitting the side. Come now. That was stupid of me. Shops? Oh, there is shops. And they sell fuel. Well, I think we got to sell them. A lamentable relic. Let's buy one. And let's spend the rest on pretty cheap fuel, actually. Oh, let's spend all of it on fuel. We don't want to run out. We have lots of supplies. Oh, excellent. That couldn't be better. Entering Scrimshander. Before you looms the bone tower of Scrimshander, the city of remembrance. Ivy structures jut from the pile, supported by buttressing tusks. As your light plays across them, you can make out inscriptions, names, pictures, and dozens of lost languages. The largest ones carry a warning. All are welcome to enter, but none may depart without leaving something of themselves behind. Accept the price and dock. A drownie floats before the docking gate of Bone Cathedral. A Bone Cathedral. She wears a cowl and carries a ceremonial key carved from a femur. At your approach, she sings a solemn greeting. Soldier, scholar, servant of art, history welcomes without toll. But be warned, ere you depart, none who enter escape whole. Well, I think that might mean that we get an injury? And we couldn't afford another injury. Let's do it. A cowed crew. The Guardians unlock the ivory gates. Steel glints in her fingers as she carves an image of your ship into her massive bone key. Your brave crew decides to remain on the ship as you disembark for the tower's dry center. Let's hope we don't die here. Deliver a monastic drownie. Deliver a truth-hunting chelinet. Wander the halls. Gather at the stage of history. Delve into the ivory archives. Compile a port report. Leave. Okay, let's compile a port report first. Few visitors, fewer departures. The inhabitants of Scrimshander spend much of their time preying on the mysteries of the past. They spend almost as much time arguing about their interpretations. Salted residents often collect nearby salvage, studying the results and inscribing their interpretations on any skeletal remains. But those who leave too often are easily recognized by what they have left in their travels, memories, personalities, and bones. Otherwise, they rarely consider the present, certainly not with the same focus they give to the histories buried within their tower. Recent world events are met with a polite silence, unless it prompts an anecdote about similarities with antiquity. Apart from old grudges and new theories, very little changes here. Let's deliver the drownie. Your silent passenger is transfixed by the murals, eyes wide and mouth agape. His unrepeatable exclamation is the first word you've heard from him. A flood of words. Something within the monastic drownie has been unloosed at the sight of such sweeping histories. After such a long time silent, he is eager to share his own smaller stories, and until he can earn his own bone quill, you are his captive audience. The coins he gives you are valuable, but not as much as the tales that tumble out of him. 5Z stories, and Tides in Time New Quality 2, 50 echoes, not bad, and we lost the monastic drownie. Deliver a truth-hunting chelinet. She kneels before an ivory carving of a faceless warrior. Its scarred figure resembles the tattoo on her arm. Hearty appreciation. After saying a wordless prayer, the truth-hunting chelinet stands and clasps you in a fierce embrace. In addition to payment, she proudly presents you with a garland of shark's teeth. My days of hunting monsters is over. Now I hunt heroes through the ages. So more echoes. History of heroes increased. A hunting trophy. Excellent. Wander the halls. The higher... Oh, did we read this? No, I don't think we did. You walk down a damp nave of bone. Intricately carved ivory walls depict improbable scenes from history. The walls are edged in tiny finger bones, each bearing a single name. Inhabitants wear ashen robes and carry steel-tipped bone quills, but you recognize most as drownies or Chelenit, expatriates. While most are quiet and ignore visitors, you hear heated arguments over interpretations of the sacred remains, which will include whatever you leave behind when you depart. Let's wander the halls. The higher in the tower, the more recent the tales. Perhaps they can be useful. We gained 1 terror and 10 fragments. A familiar tale. The simple houses are built with bricks of ash and bone dust. Each bears a finely engraved story from the mundane to the profane. Some bricks tell the same tales from different and contradictory sources. You spend a quiet hour reading the side of a derelict house. A handful of its tales are suspiciously familiar. Gather at the stage of history. Scholars file quietly into a pair of great ivory doors at the far end of the hallway. When they stumble out again, you can hear raised voices, arguments, and laughter. To the amphitheater. After the reverent silence of the outside, the boisterous noise of the amphitheater washes over you like a heavy sea beyond these walls. The stage of history. Actors strut in an amphitheater of bone, performing historical plays of dubious veracity. An audience watches from below, with each roaring drunk member applauding or jeering different details of the work. Above, an imperious figure wearing a crown of ivory judges each performance from a raised theater box. All are served by a single man, weaving between the crowd and wearing a perpetual smirk. I'm intrigued by this place. We're gonna watch a heroic play. The Chelenit's champions promise the tale of a lone hero who changed the course of history based on historical evidence. Often enjoyable, occasionally accurate. Truly, this is what heroes are made of: courage, charm, and an ample capacity for violence. The moral is clearly defined. The prop horses are surprisingly well painted. How considerate of history to provide such an exemplar of heroism. The crowd roars its approval and keeps the glib historian busy with demands for more wine. His efforts to serve the unruly lot deserve a play of their own. Well, we lost some terror. That's not bad. Talk with the glib historian. The mushroom wine he serves is stale, but the plays he announces are questionable at best, but the impeccably bearded man with the olive skin laughs at every performance and has a smile for every patron. Warring theories on the stage of history. Some cheer history as the work of brave and inspired heroes, especially them who wish they could be heroes themselves. The glib historian rolls his eyes theatrically. Others say it's all shaped by cyclical changes in scientific progress, economics, and such. But nothing gets in the way of a good story like nuance. He spits out the word like a rotten grape. We let him argue up on the stage and give an ivory crown to whoever is most convincing at the moment. He waves a hand at the temporary monarch in the raised seat above. But far as I'm concerned, he confides, filling a patron's mug with cheap wine, history is what you make of it. And I make a killing. You've learned enough about history to distrust any one person's account. Okay. Agree to search the ivory archives for a pattern. The Drowning Chorus sits dejectedly in the corner, griping about the hero worships on display. They'll pay well if you can research the societal context to the figures on the stage. The quest for context. Heroes are merely the product of their time. These fools celebrate a pearl and ignore the oyster that made it. Help us tell a more reasonable tale, and we put things right, for now, at least. You will need to trade coffee or wine for time in the archives in order to pursue this quest. Okay. Well, then we're going to have to leave the amphitheater. And we're going to have to leave Scrimshander. No one departs without leaving something of themselves behind to be ready. Departing. Were there quite this many guards when you came in? Was there always a pile of fresh bones by the entrance? No one may depart Scrimshander without leaving something of themselves behind by which to be remembered. Tradition demands it, as do the muscular guards at the gate. Their sharpened bone quills are at the ready to collect your donation. Okay, so we can leave. Let's read what we could leave behind. Transport for a scholar. Leave behind a story. Leave behind a past triumph. Leave behind vitality. Leave behind warmth. Leave behind something a little more tangible. Stay a while. Well, let's provide transport for the scholar. I don't know if this will let us leave. A bandaged scholar stands near the exit, angrily brushing ash off of himself. At your approach, he brusquely demands passage to Hideaway. Of course he'll pay. Sure. In search of history's losers, he's studied remains of 100 wars and read 1,000 bitter ends. Now he seeks the survivors so he can interview them in person. He assures you it's a purely academic interest. His life has been splendid. Personally, he merely wishes to see how they live with themselves. Okay, so we have to leave something behind. Let's leave a story, because we have a few of those. You can always make more. A block of memories. So it took 5, though. You take a deep breath of bittersweet incense and recount your tales. As you speak, a chronicler carves your words into bricks of ash and bone powder. The bone quills scratching grates, and the incense stings your eyes, but you continue. By the time you finish, your head aches, and the chronicler holds a handful of bricks. Before returning to your ship, you examine one. It bears your name and a short tale. But it isn't a memory of yours. You'd remember anything that outlandish. Best to leave before they realize the mistakes they've made. Okay. Well, I think we're all full in our hold. Yeah, we are. Alright, well, I guess we'll end it here. There we go. So, until next time, if you enjoyed it, please leave me a like, subscribe if you want to see more, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. This is FatherofTwo, signing off.